want you to do right now is this, all right? I want you to think of someone who is a hero in your mind, all right? Think of somebody who is a hero, and if they're a hero, I want you to write down what you think the characteristics of a hero are. So whoever you have in your mind as being a hero, as being heroic, I want you to write down a name, and I want you to tell me what are the characteristics that make them heroic. And it can be somebody who's make-believe, it can be somebody on a TV show, it can be somebody in real life, all right? It can be your parent, your brother, your sister, but what are the characteristics that make them heroic? And then what I want you to do is, once you've done that, I want you to exchange answers with the person next to you and see what you guys came up with. See if you come up with common characteristics. Because what we're going to do is we're going to look at those characteristics and then we're going to compare them to what an epic hero is. When we look at the Odyssey, all right, and we look at Odysseus. So go ahead and do that right now. So give me some good descriptive adjectives. What makes a hero? And then think, pair, share with somebody near you. See if you have characteristics in common. We're just talking about a general hero. We don't need to think about anything with Greek mythology yet. We're just talking about a hero in terms of our own experience. Alright, once you got something down, go ahead and share out with somebody near you. Alright, somebody next to you. See who you came up with. Alright. See if you have some common characteristics there. When you think of heroic. My Prezi mover again. All right. Yeah, come on on, and then I'll show you. Just so I start All right. So, what did some of us come up with? What were some heroes? I know I heard my name on there somewhere. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Okay, so what did we come up with? Give me some characteristics, Alex.
I came up with Achilles, and I guess just supernatural abilities.
Okay, so you went with Greek mythology. Now you didn't have to do that, but that's fine. Achilles, and the only place he was vulnerable was where? In his heel, right? Okay, and that how many of you seen the movie Troy? Seen part of that movie? No one's seen the movie Troy? You saw that movie? So you know what happens in the end, obviously. All right, yeah, that was the only place that he was vulnerable was in his heel. And that's where that expression comes, your Achilles heel is your weakness. All right? What else do we have? What other attributes? Yes?
I couldn't really find a specific hero for my traits, but I said that a hero would be someone that's not necessarily physically strong, but more mentally strong.
Okay.
And they'd be able to, they wouldn't buckle underneath, like, stress or anything.
Right. Why would mental strength be very, very important for a hero? Why would mental strength be so important? Think about it. I mean, it's one thing to have big and strong, but why would mental strength be important? What do you think, Hunter?
Well, so you have a plan, you just go there.
Yeah, you got to have an intelligent hero. Otherwise, you know, you're not gonna. It's not gonna end up well. You need someone who's going to be a leader. All right, definitely. All right, what else did we come up with? Do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I did. Like, I don't know if you know this, but like Thor, that figure, he is physically strong, but he's not mentally strong. So he's not a particularly good leader, and that's why he wasn't allowed to take over.
Okay, so even though he was physically strong, he lacked the mental acuity, the mental, wherewithal that you need in order to be a hero. Well, I guess he's a hero in the physical sense, but not like a true hero. So that's something that impedes him, is the lack of his mental ability. All right, did anybody use somebody besides like a fictional character? Did anybody pick somebody from their own life? Yeah.
Actually, it was not from my own life, but a celebrity. I said Tom Hiddleston.
Okay.
Because he's an extremely nice and a generous person, and he gives things up for maybe time or energy for the well-being of others.
Okay. All right. Who is he again?
He plays Loki.
On what show?
Oh, in Thor.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yes.
I picked a U.S. soldier, and one of the characteristics I put was they put other needs before their own.
Very good. Yeah, definitely a soldier. Absolutely. Has to be a leader, and definitely has to have the mental and the physical capabilities to deal with war. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to share out for me before we do our background on the Odyssey? All right. Abby, can you get the lights for me, please? All right. So I'll have the PowerPoint printed out or the Prezi printed out for you guys. What I want you to do right now is I want you just to pay attention to the Prezi, okay, as we go through it, because I want you to understand where myths like the Odyssey, where the Iliad, where the Aeneid, where did they all come from? Why were they created? All right? So what I want to do is we want to look at the Greek people. So if you could focus in on that for me. Scroll down, or scroll up, rather. Just, yeah, and then just double click on it. Should be able to bring it up. There you go. All right. So, the outlook on life. We're talking about Greece. We're talking about Western Europe, okay? They cherished life, believed in living life to the fullest. They admired strength, beauty, and intelligence, valued moderation, and looked down on people with too much pride. We're talking about the real Greek people that existed. What does moderation mean? Nowadays, they say do everything in moderation. What does that mean? What does moderate mean? Yeah, don't overdo it, okay? Too much of anything is a good thing, all right? And they look down on people with too much pride. What is pride in this sense, do you think? What does pride mean? Yeah. Yeah, you're arrogant, all right? Respect for the gods was very important. Yes, they did believe of this stuff. They were polytheistic. They believed in the gods. Okay? Bless you. And you know that they created stories about gods and goddesses. What was the purpose of creating these stories? Why did they do it? Stefan?
To explain like things that couldn't be explained, like why was there the sun and the moon
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Okay? They could not explain natural events. And so because they had these beliefs, they created these wonderful stories, all right, that helped explain it. Now, we know that they're false. We know that they're not true. We know that there's a huge ball of gas in the center of our solar system and that the planets revolve around it. We know that it's not Apollo riding his sun chariot across the sky. So why do we still study these works? What's the purpose of it? What do you think? Yes?
So we know, like, our past history and civilizations and stuff, how they were.
Yeah, and also they're just great stories too. They're great works of literature. All right, so you can scroll down to beliefs about the gods. Okay, so gods mirrored the qualities of life. What they put into their gods and goddesses, what the Greek people wanted in their gods and goddesses, was they wanted people that would represent the best of them. Okay, so you notice the gods and goddesses, everyone's beautiful, everyone's perfect to a degree. We'll explain that, what I mean by perfect in that sense. So the things that they enjoyed all kinds of human things, things that we enjoy, all right? They're depicted as beautiful and powerful, but they did have flaws, all right? So when I say perfection, I'm talking more about the physical perfection. The gods and goddesses had flaws, and that they had pride, they were rash, they were cruel, and they were very ambitious, okay? Human beings were like people on a chessboard, and the gods and goddesses just moved them how they saw fit, all right? The gods could take human form, all right? That was something that they believed in. What god in particular was known to take human form? Do you guys know from mythology? In fact, this is how he conducted many of his, let's say, his dating rituals. He was quite the ladies' man. Liam? Not Poseidon. Probably, he did. Not the one I'm thinking of, though. Yes? Zeus. Absolutely. Zeus was one to transform himself in order to seduce women mortals. Okay? So this was something that was very well known with him. All right? So, just because they were perfect on the outside, they still reflected human frailty on the inside. Okay? All right, let's scroll up to the top there for me. Okay. Outlook on death. Death was inevitable. All right? But the answer to death was to leave a legend behind. Okay? So, we're going to see that in the Odyssey. All right, you want your name, I think Athena says, you want your name on the lips of endless generations. Maybe not at first, but if you're a true hero, that's what's going to be your fate. You're going to do something that's going to make sure that you were remembered. All right? Honor is very, very important. And again, going back to this, they were feisty and vengeful. All right, the gods were feisty and vengeful, particularly when they thought that human beings were doing something against their honor, if they were going against the gods. Okay? All right, we can scroll up to the Odyssey. All right, so now I want to look at, I think it's go more to the right. Yeah, keep scrolling over. We're going to talk about the Odyssey itself. Okay? A lot of people get it confused with the Iliad. If you want to know the story of the Trojan War, I'll scroll over and find it. Oh, there we go. You got it. If you want to know the story of the Trojan War, then you should read the Iliad, because that's what the Iliad is about. Okay? And it's about how that all started. The Odyssey is a much more personal journey because it follows only one man, Odysseus, whereas the Iliad is going to incorporate a lot of different characters. Okay? So, what is the Odyssey? Where did it come from? Well, it's an epic poem. What's an epic poem? An epic poem is a long narrative poem that tells the adventure of a hero. Alright? So, for example, the Iliad Iliad, Odyssey, and Beowulf. All right? It's originally told aloud, and then later it was written down. All right? Does anybody have any idea what language it would have been written in? My students, remember?
Latin.
Told you about language you should take.
Latin.
Latin, okay, yes, it would have originally been written down in Latin, okay, which is now a dead language, but if you were living back then in that time period, that's the language that you would have spoken. All right, generally is part myth, legend, folktale, and history, all right, and you know that if it's going to be myth, it's going to involve the gods or goddesses, all right, and it includes a hero, a journey, a combat, an intervention of the supernatural. All right, in the Odyssey, we're going to see the Cyclops. We're going to see Circe, the sea nymph. We're going to see Calypso. All right, you scroll down just a little bit. Okay, so what is a myth? Well, the myth uses fantasy, supernatural to explain natural events. All right, it is religious because it deals with humans and spiritual beings. Okay, religious in the sense that it's going to be the respect paid to the gods that is eventually going to get Odysseus home. And you're going to see what keeps him from getting home has to do with disrespect to the gods. All right, well, who was Homer? Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. Who was he? No one's exactly sure who he is, okay? Some people think he was blind. Some people think he's just some legend. Some people think he's two different people. Some people think he was a woman because of the way that he wrote these stories. And if you watch the Odyssey, a lot of Odysseus's problems come in the form of women. Okay? All right, and then if you can just scroll over to the side, look for epic hero. It should be there. If it's screen magnet, might need to scroll down a little bit. There it is. Oops, sorry. All right, so what is an epic hero? Who is the hero, and what are the attributes that he's going to have? All right, well, a hero is going to be going on a journey for a purpose, okay? It's all about the journey. It's not about getting back to Ithaca straight shot. It's about Odysseus having to undergo some sort of journey. An epic hero is going to be imperfect. There's going to be something that is wrong with him. He has too much pride. He doesn't have a lot of faith in the gods. And so in order for him to become a more perfect human being, he has to undergo this journey. And that's what the Odyssey is all about, undergoing a journey. Okay? All right, we can get out of that. If you can get the lights for me, Abby. So now what I would like for you guys to do is this. Knowing what you know about Odysseus, you guys saw a little bit of the film the other day, I want you to tell me what are his good characteristics, what are the positive characteristics of an epic hero do you see, and then what are some of the negative characteristics of an epic hero do you see? All right? And I want you to take the point of view of Athena, who is his protector. All right? So she's going to make suggestions. She's grading him as a human being. What things does he need to improve upon? And what things does he have that are good? What makes him a good hero? All right? So you can do that on the same sheet as you did your own version of a hero. All right, and then I want to share out. Okay, so go ahead and do that now. Thank you very much. So again, you are taking on the point of view of Athena. And if you had to make recommendations to Odysseus, right now where you are in the film, everything that you've seen of him, what would you say is he doing right, and what does he need to improve upon? You may not have a lot of things to improve upon right now, but as we go along, you'll see that there are things that he needs to improve upon. And make sure you're writing from the point of view of Athena, goddess of war and wisdom, his protector. And as you'll notice, she doesn't always protect him. And there's reasons for that.
But isn't she like the goddess of war, so isn't it like she want war to happen? Wouldn't she encourage it?
Yes, she does. She wants war to happen. She wants him to go and fight in the Trojan War. We saw that, right? She wants his name on endless generations, right? But think of all, well, you've seen already there's going to be a lot of bad things that happen to him. It's going to take him, but how long does it take him to get back to Ithaca?
6.
Well, the Trojan War, he fights for 10 years, and it takes him 10 more years to get back to Ithaca. And it would have been very simple had he not done a certain thing.
He disrespected the side of the moon.
That was part of it, disrespect to the gods, yes.